Joining us now to discuss this potential rift or smokescreen is Gadi Adelman. Gadi is a counterterrorism expert. Gadi, good to have you back on the show with us. As we just discussed with Emily Rose, Hamas allegedly making demands that Palestinian Islamic Jihad hand over operatives linked to recent rocket launches. So this could either be taken as the beginning of a serious rift between two different Palestinian terror groups, or perhaps just an attempt by Hamas to try and pass the buck and avoid responsibility for these attacks. What do you think?
Well, either way, Michelle, they are passing the buck. This is not the first time this has happened. As you may recall, it was either the end of last year, maybe the beginning of this year, and unfortunately, with all the rocket attacks, it's hard to keep track. Islamic Jihad fired several salvos of rockets into Israel, which set off a tit-for-tat back and forth. And at that time, it turned out through investigation that they were ordered to do so by Iran. So this is not the first time that they've screamed, hey, it wasn't us, it was the Islamic Jihad. But as your correspondent Emily just pointed out, Israel holds Hamas solely responsible for everything that goes on in there. They are the governing body.
You know, it's interesting because, as you say, Israel does hold Hamas accountable for what happens in Gaza. And you do get this general sense that Hamas is really trying to distance itself from responsibility at large when it comes to terror. The Hamas leadership has also expressed concern that operations have been perpetuated by lone wolf actors, and that those may lead to the outbreak of another war with Israel. So do you buy this idea of lone wolf actors? When Hamas incites terrorism and spreads an ideology of hate, can it then distance itself from people that act on that?
Not really, and I'll explain why I don't. It's actually quite simple. And tonight, Israeli time, Thursday evening, you had a terrorist throwing grenades across the border fence of Gaza into Israel at IDF troops. That just happened probably before you went on the air. I don't know if you spoke about it or not. This is a continual thing. Now, if that person acted on his own, but is a member of the militant organization Hamas or Islamic Jihad, where does one draw the line? And this is why it amazes me that people don't seem to want to use common sense. If Mexico or Canada were firing rockets into the United States on a constant basis, and then finally came to some sort of agreement where it would stop, but someone else started to do it, would America not hold Canada or Mexico or where it was coming from responsible, since it's coming out of their country or their territory?
Right. Excellent point. Gadi, thank you so much. Gadi Adelman, counterterrorism expert.